Today's the day that we're going to fire harden my Hickory Recurve bow. As you can see, we have the jig all set here that was adjustable, that we pulled it out to reach the edge of the limbs here. We also have a special gutter system that we're going to use to fire harden the bow that was adjustable to reach the ends of the limbs, so they get also fire hardened. So we're going to go ahead and bring this jig off, and we're going to light her up.
Okay, good. We're going to give it like 15 minutes or so. And once again, we're going to cook the wood. So wood combust at 300 degrees about, depending on the wood. And fire hardening is supposed to take place around 240 degrees. So we want these coals to catch. So once they start turning white, they get hot enough, we're going to put the jig back on. And then we're going to show you how we adjust the height to cook the wood. And I just want to show you at the end of this gutter system, there's trays, regular aluminum trays that I recycle. I use them over and over again. And the idea is the tray is I fold it up and I cup the end up so I could build the coals up higher for the recurves. So the recurve ends that are bent, the coals will kind of match that and cook, okay? So once again, we want to get a nice brown color. We don't really want to scorch the wood. The idea is to cook it and get a dark color. Sometimes you get a little scorching, but when we go to till this and we go to remove material, if there was a little scorching, it'll come off in the tillering process. So even though the time isn't that important, it usually goes for 2 hours or so to fire harden these bows. So it's 20 after 11. And probably like 11:30, 11:35, we'll check on it to see if the coals are cooked enough, and then we'll start. I'll give you a start time anyway. Right? What do you think, Jimmy?
Let's get her started. Okay. All right, so as this is firing up over here, Joe would put out this nice tarp just to keep us covered and shaded. It's always good to keep covered up, with the sun out there. Joe and I both had issues going on with our skin, so this is a great idea that you bought this cover up to keep us shielded from the sun, Joe.
Yeah, I got checked out and I had some spots on me, and I said I went to the doctor and I said, "Is that skin cancer?" to the dermatologist, and she says, "No, that's not skin cancer, but that's skin cancer." So they removed it, and luckily it wasn't melanoma. And ever since then, I make sure I wear the big, you see me in the summertime, now that the sun's out, it's warmer, bright, I either wear a big hat, and I make sure when I'm out here, it's a bit of a pain in the neck, but worth it. We put the big top up, okay? And you see the bungee cords? I think in one of my videos, I actually had footage from my Ring camera. I'm sitting out here and a wind gust comes because we're off the ocean, and we get big wind gusts sometimes, and it picked it up like a sail and it crashed down over on the tables over there. So if you have one of these and you're near a fence or bricks or whatever, make sure you fasten it down so it don't blow away on you if the wind changes. But cover up, use some sunscreen. You don't want to get skin cancer. That's all. A Barebow Joe public announcement.
Okay, so our coals are catching really nicely now, and everything, they're starting to get white, that good white color that they're getting nice and hot. And we're gonna bring the jig back over here and set it, above the coals, and we'll go through how we're gonna set it to the right height. And it's about 11:30 right now. We're getting started. All right, so we got the bow on the rack here now. It's fire hardening already. Now we got two important things that we're gonna have available to us is these nice fire gloves, and we got a nice poker here that we're going to adjust the coals to get everything nice and, I guess, laid out and spread out evenly. And the gloves are just obviously here just to, God forbid, we need to pick up the whole jig and adjust it or just move it away. Of course, if it gets too hot, it can combust and start firing up. So we're going to keep these gloves on very close to us when we're adjusting things.
Yeah, always you should. It's a good idea to put them on every time you move it, because at some point this wood will be so dry that if it touches the coals, like you slip, in a second or two, it could spontaneously combust. But with the gloves, it hit, you pick it up right away. You can grab it anywheres with the gloves. Where if you didn't have the gloves on, you're trying to grab clamps or whatever, and
It's all super
you
hot.
could go on
Yeah.
fire, you know?
Okay. All right. After setting the coals to the right depth of the where the limbs are, everything is pretty much equidistant from where we should be now. So now we're just going to check the temperature of how much heat is going to the limbs now.
Okay, so Keith Shannon from Shannon Outdoors, I was on it to have a couple of conversations with him, and this is the best way to check the temperature because I tried everything. I tried thermometers, which don't work. I tried measuring the heat, and if you notice, you've seen me fire harden these bows in the winter, and they were closer to the coals. Well, today they're higher because it's warm out today for Long Island. So you take your palm and go right underneath, and you got to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I have this adjusted already. But if you went under and you went 1, 2, it's too hot. If you went under and you went 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's not hot enough. So that's where you use the stick to even everything out. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's how we measure the heat. Okay. So as we're going, okay, I'm going to show you now. Look, it's been going for 15 minutes. Look, I'm turning these clamps, and you don't force nothing. You kind of just turn it and let it go. Okay, so there's a couple things you're going to be doing. Is you're going to be checking these clamps because the wood's going to shrink, and we want it to conform to the jig as we're fire hardening it. So check the clamps, and you're going to knock ash off every so often and add coals. So that's it. We're going to check it in about a half hour. We're checking it all constantly, but we're going to lift it up in about a half hour, and we're going to show you what it looks like.
All right, so we've given it a little while. I'm just going to just go down the line and just check out, make sure these clamps are all good and snug again. Give them a small little turn, as much as it needs.
They are turning, right?
They are turning, yeah.
So what we're going to do next is, no, don't bother with the end. What we're going to do next is we're going to pick it up high. He's going to put on the gloves, so he's going to pick it up high, and then what we'll show you is, we'll show you what the bottom looks like at that roughly half hour mark. Okay, so the next picture will be up in the air, and I'll show you what it looks like underneath. Okay, from the riser heading to the right, we're starting to get a little bit of color. We're going around that curve for the recurve, and we're getting a little bit of color. All right, we just started. It's been about a half hour. From the riser going down to the left, around to the curb, we got a little bit of color.
All right, so now we're just going to knock down some of the ash, and we're going to add more coals. So we heat it up again.
Yeah, you can go vigorous on it. Knock it down, knock it back into the trough, and then knock it back up again. And this way we get all the ash off, and the coals get nice and hot. And then once we put the other coals on, they'll catch.
All right, so we added more coals. As you can see, they're smoking right now. We're just gonna let them catch, and we're just gonna, keep a very close look at it, making sure that as these coals catch that it's not catching the bow on fire. So we'll be checking this.
Right, we're going to be looking to make sure that the smoke is coming from the coals that are catching, and that the wood itself is not smoking. Right, and as it gets hotter, we will have to raise it. Okay, because right now it's lower, but as the coals catch, it'll get hotter, and we'll have to raise it. So we have to carefully watch it every step of the way.
Okay, we're at the 1 hour mark. Now we're going to lift it up, and we're going to see what it looks like.
From the riser going to the right, we got a little more color. Going around to the curve, and we got color going up to the curve. From the riser going to the left, we got a little more color. And we got that color going up around the curve.
Before we do that, I'm going to knock down some ash and add some more coals on here so it stays nice and hot for us.
Okay, Jimmy brought over nice lunch. Check this out. Turkey sandwiches, we got some coleslaw, some drinks.
All right, so now we're at the 1.5 hour mark, so we're going to just pick up the limbs and see what it looks like.
Okay, we're at the riser. We got color from the fade outs going all the way down. to the recurve tips. From the riser going down to the left, we got color going on all the way to the recurve tips.
And again, I'm going to knock down some of the ash and add a few more coals just to keep that temperature consistent. Knocked down the coals, added some more coals on there. I got the heat perfect again, and just going to give it another minute or so. Just so we'll measure again when those coals catch fire, and we'll measure it. As of right now, we're at a good level of where the bow is, and we probably have about another half an hour left of the fire hardening, and then we'll pull it off and we'll show you what it looks like. Okay, it's been about 2 hours and 15 minutes. We are going to take it off the coals and just bring it over there and let it cool for a little bit so we can start taking the clamps off. Okay, we've taken off all the clamps, and look how nicely it's conformed to the back set jig, and I'm ready to take it off, and I'll show you how it looks. Good. All right, so we got the handle.
Turn it so they can see the fire hardening.
There we go.
From tip to tip. Okay, now hold it so you can see the back set. Hold it like crossways and turn it around.
Yeah, see that?
Like that. Up.
And up all the way. Yeah. Just
there you
look
go.
how
Look
nice the
came out beautiful.
Look great, and it's holding nicely.
Came out beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to hydrate it next, and then we're going to shape it for our tips.
Very good. Okay. All right. So we have a soaking wet rag here. We're going to hydrate, and we're going to do this a couple of times. Get that moisture back into the limbs here again.
Soaking wet. Don't be afraid to put water on it and get some moisture back in there. And dunk it one more time to show them, Jimmy. Dunk it. Dripping wet. See the water coming off? Look.
All right.
Okay, so all we're going to add on this is we're going to shape some rosewood tips to match the rosewood handle, and we're going to add them on, and we'll either show you a video or the picture of the rosewood tips on, and then we're going to be tillering. We're going to have a separate tillering video. So what do you think so far, Jimmy, of it?
Oh, this is coming out awesome. It looks
think
great.
It's beautiful, right?
Yeah, that really took shape really nicely from fire hardening it.
Yeah, beautiful job. And we are. Yeah, we have one of the tips shaped already, and we have to make another one. I figured we'd show you the process that we use. So now that we have it cut out to the approximate size, we want to create a taper. So how I do it is I put the block against this and I hold it, and I'll switch this on and put a little more pressure on the front until the tip comes down to, the angle comes down to like this. Okay, that's the idea. But I always keep my hand on the switch for safety, and I don't let nobody else do this, and I can pull my hand away if I have to, or cut another piece of wood. It ain't worth sanding your fingers off. It's flat, looks about the same. The tip's pointy, the block is going to be on top, and the bottom limb, when we determine what one the bottom limb is, we'll round this end, while the other one will make a little pointy. Okay, so what we did was we drew a little line here. We're going to remove a little material down. And what we did was, if you look at the tip, I put tape here. The tape is a guide. We're not going to try not to go past the tape, but you do. And then after we have a match where this will match together, when we cut this taper down, then we're going to reintroduce more paper, more tape, and that'll keep the glue, the epoxy, from going further past the tip. All right, Okay, you see how we got it? So it's butted together, a little bit of taper, and we can always shape it and sand it too. We took down a little bit more material on the rosewood overlay to make it a little thinner, and that looks more appropriate, nice fitting. Now we're going to do the other side. You can see the high spot, and you can use a flat file and work it down to eliminate the flat spot, get it even. Okay. Belt sander takes down a lot of material, but this will make it nice and level. Okay.
Okay, we finishing the fire hardening. We hydrated the both flims down again with a lot of water, and we cut out the tips of rosewood, and we got them nicely placed on each side of the limbs. We're using epoxy, and then we use 840 epoxy, and then the rubber bands are holding it in place on both sides. And we're going to let this sit for about 2 days to let them harden.
Yeah, show us a close up just to show. I mean, it's got to be shaped and sanded, but they look pretty good.
Yeah, they came out really nice. It's going to look really nice.
See, we shaped the edge and all good. Did a good job.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Very nice. Yeah. Every day you wake up, it's a good day. And thank you for watching.